like it's been a really long time, hasn't it? If you've been wondering why I haven't made any videos in the last few months, and you're wondering where we have disappeared, I have answers for you. No, I'm joking. What I'm going to do first though, I'm going to prop you up somewhere on a shelf or something, because my arm is going to get sore otherwise, because this video might be quite rambling. I'm doing it mostly for myself, I think, because I feel the need to explain things, because I don't like things to have been left the way they've been left. Yeah, also for those people who had been following us for quite some time and just were wondering that. I know quite a few of you are on Instagram, so have had some updates, but just watch if you're interested. If you're new here and you haven't watched anything before, this video is probably not going to make much sense, and this video is probably not going to be very interesting for you. Also, if you are not comfortable with the topics of autism and neurodiversity and all that, just a word of warning, I'm going to be talking about this in this video, because this is part of the reasons why this is here. But yeah, if you're interested, keep watching. I'm just going to prop you up somewhere somehow, because I'm going to get a very sore arm otherwise. So, hello, focus. Hi. I have not planned how I'm going to talk about this, and I don't know in what way to do it so I don't ramble too much. So I'm going to try and not go too much into details about the things that are not important. Sum things up. Springtime, I started to fall out of love with YouTube. YouTube did a lot of things. The company, when I say YouTube, I mean the company, did quite a few things I didn't agree with, and they ended up also making it very difficult for smaller channels to be able to be seen on this platform. Now, I don't do my videos for money. I've never actually physically earned money from YouTube, and this is not the reason why I was doing them. But there's a lot of channels who have amazing content and they were hoping to make something out of this, and they were growing, and they were suddenly not allowed to be earning anything anymore. And it's something I truly disagree with, because the thing I loved about YouTube is that it was this platform where everybody who had something to share with the world could put it there, and it was accessible for other people. It was a massive, like a kind of an exchange platform. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? Sorry, if it sounds wrong, I don't know, but sorry. Don't you know, you could share skills. Like, I saw it all the time as a skill sharing, and whether that is just showing people your daily life to give them something to follow a little bit, like to see a family grow, which is what I love to look on other channels, or learning skills. I've learned so many things. I've learned to play the ukulele thanks to YouTube videos and smaller channels. I've learned to paint, I've learned to knit, I've learned to crochet. There's so many actual skills I've learned thanks to YouTube. It's an amazing thing. But I feel like lately the people at the head of YouTube, or what they are showing anyway, is that they are supporting a lot more videos who have a lot of exposure because they are popular, like the people are popular, but these videos don't really have much content that, you know, it's not very valuable, in my opinion anyway. Now, it might entertain some people. I'm not going to take this away from that. I'm sure that if they are so successful that there are people who like that, but to me this is at the expense of some very skilled people who deserve to earn something from what they share. And this really bothered me, and this part of me that didn't want to contribute to this platform anymore, because I completely disagree with this whole policy, and I don't know, I just don't like that idea. I know it's all about money and all that, but I feel like it's not what it used to be anymore, and I'm not very happy about that. So I don't know how I feel about producing content to go on YouTube. Now, that being said, this is what got the gears turning in my head, but this is not the reason why I haven't uploaded anything since. So just to give you the picture, I'm currently at home. I'm trying to work from home, and I'll go more into details about that in a wee while. And I have Alfie, my youngest, who is 3.5 now, and he's doing brilliant. In case you do not know, Alfie has autism, and it does take a lot of my time. He cannot currently go to school full time. He only goes to school for an hour and 10 minutes, which is a very small amount of time. I usually get about 45 minutes in the house on my own to do things while he's in school, which is a very short amount of time, especially when I'm trying to work. There's only so much I can do in that amount of time, so this is very time consuming. And also Owen is currently going through autism assessment as well. Now Owen it's not affecting him at school very much. It's actually helping him at school, because he is very advanced school-wise for his age, but there are a lot of sides that it creates in him, a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of other sides of things. Like his mental health is my main concern with this. The reason why we decided to get Owen assessed is because about, when was it, May, June, James was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. We kind of always knew he had autism, but it was never diagnosed. At the time when he was young, it just wasn't a thing you would diagnose. It's just, as an example, he was told by the GP he was different because he was left-handed several times. So, that's, I can't put the blame on anyone. That's just what they thought at the time, and they could only do with what they had. I do find it silly, and it does sound silly nowadays, but you have to think that this happened so many years ago. So because Alfie was diagnosed, and then James was diagnosed, and Owen has been showing many signs, I don't feel like right now we need help for Owen, but I do feel that he probably will need help emotionally for support and all that. So knowing how long the process is for going through it, we thought we would start it now, just in case he needed the help later. Right now we're not, like, even in school, the school has been adapting things for him, but it's not to the point where he needs to have an assistant. With Alfie, Alfie's needs are much more severe. So, like, that's the reason why he can't go to school any longer at the moment, is because we're waiting for things to be put in place, and the school can't take him without a special needs assistant. So I'll probably do updates about this, but this is a picture of our family at the moment. What you saw in the vlogs before, there was nothing that was staged or anything like that, but there's a part of me that was editing out all the meltdowns, all the signs of autism basically in our house. The reason why I did this is not because I'm ashamed of it. I am very proud of all my boys, and I love the fact that, to me, they are like mini superheroes. They all have sets of skills that are like way beyond what people can do, and we fully embrace that in our house. We are all for neurodiversity, and I embrace every single person in my house and out of my house for what their special skills instead of the skills they lack. That being said, it's not something that's easy on a daily basis, not because of who they are, but because of the fact that the way the world is built currently and the way society around us works, it makes it really difficult. It's kind of like it's an incompatibility between them. I was watching, I think it was a TED talk or something like that, about autism, and there was a quote that's really struck in my mind, and I just thought, yes, this is it. It's a bit nerdy, but I'm hoping some of you will get it, that you wouldn't expect, it might have been another thing, but you wouldn't expect an Apple computer to run a Microsoft software. You would just, if the Apple computer can't run it, you just say it's not compatible. You don't say the Apple computer is broken. And it's the same with people with autism. And this is something I feel so strongly about. But those moments where, especially with Alfie has really big meltdowns. There's a lot of things that, like outings, can be so stressful for him and so difficult to deal with. We're trying to find ways to help him, but it's kind of a big learning curve. It's about finding out what is going to work for him. There's not a magic method that applies to every child with autism, every child with autism is completely different, and it's not because something worked with one of them that it's going to work with another one. So it's really going through trial and error. But a big part of our days, especially on bad days, is made of a lot of meltdowns, and this is something I have chosen not to share, not because I'm ashamed of it, but because Alfie doesn't have a say in what's portrayed of him on the internet, and I am very aware that what I put there is going to stay there, and I'm always wondering, will he want this shared there? Do you know, if he was at a stage, or even for Owen does have a say all the time. He always knew that at any point he could tell me, I don't want to be filmed today. I always asked him, are you okay for this to be on the vlog? I've never forced this on him, but even though he does understand that it goes on the internet, he's too young to grasp the fact that it's going to be there forever, and that maybe when he's a teenager he will not want this there, and once it's there it's very hard to take out. Now what it made me feel like, sorry my camera keeps falling, what it made me feel like is that I was almost like on camera editing my children to be normal, what's considered normal, neurotypical, whichever way you want to call it. I'm just simplifying words to make it accessible for everyone who wouldn't have special needs vocabulary there. And I had an issue with that then. I thought, this is not fair, this is not right. And I felt sometimes looking at the vlogs, people were saying, oh, you're such a happy family, you're always happy and you're always smiling and all that. But we're not. We are just like everybody else. We have good days and bad days, and there are times where there are a lot of bad days, and it's because we are learning about this whole thing. And yeah, it just became, I started to have an issue with editing my children out, because to me it's part of who they are, and I was giving, you know, I don't know how to explain it properly. It's just really hard to come out in words, but I'm hoping you understand what I mean by this. So when I became aware of this, I became very conscious when I was vlogging, and I didn't enjoy it anymore. That being said, I'm not saying I'm not going to do it anymore at all. For the minute, what I'm doing, which I find works much better for us, because it's a lot less work, is that I've been using Insta Stories and Instagram a lot more. So I'm going to link the handle here. It's Mademoisellepoupette. I'll just put it there. If you want to follow us there, you can. You don't have to. I do share a bit of our daily life in the stories. It's very minimal compared to the vlogs. I kind of do it whenever I feel like it, and whenever I feel like it's the right time. I have been sharing more about autism on that, because I feel like people can choose whether they want to see it or not. I understand some people might not know much about it, and they might not be interested in it. That's fair enough, but I want to stop editing my children out, basically. But at the same time, making sure I share things that are not going to be permanently on the internet and all that. So this is how things happened. Another big part of that is that, so as I was saying, Alfie's only going for just over an hour at school. I still run 2 small businesses. Now one is not, I'm not doing much with it, with the sewing, because it's just so time consuming. I'm very limiting my orders a lot, but I still have my sticker business, which I need to keep running, and it's taking a lot of work, and I don't have much time to do it in the day. So I need to work at night, and I need to work at the weekends, and then it has an impact on my family life. So bringing into this a lot of editing as well for the vlogs became impossible. It's just not possible. So this is why Insta Stories is simple enough, because I can just film it as it's happening and upload it right away, and it's there, and I don't have to do any work after that. I feel also like it's more, but it is not edited, because it can't be, you know, it's just how it was filmed. I'm happier about this at the moment. So I think going forward, this is going to be what happens the most, and then we'll see. But yeah, I really hope this sums things up for you, and it makes sense. If you do have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. I'm not scared of questions, even about autism. I am really open about the topic. I do appreciate people asking questions, because the way I see it is that I didn't know as much as I do now about autism before I was confronted to it, and I can fully appreciate the fact that to a lot of people it's going to be something that they're not familiar with, or they know about but they don't know exactly what it's like, because I've seen so many people being so surprised when they learned that Alfie was autistic, because they thought, oh, but he can look at you in the eyes and he can smile and he can communicate and all that. Yes, but autism is not just Rain Man. It's not just a child rocking back and forth in a corner. It's not just that. There's a lot of, autism makes a lot of things. It's a wonderful world. If you want to dive into it, I would be happy to speak about it, but I also don't want to throw it in your face all the time, so that's why I'm not going to do that. But yes, I am so proud of all of them, and I am very glad. I feel like this is something that has made me grow as a person massively, and I kind of feel grateful in a way that I'm learning so much. It's a very, very difficult thing to help kids going through it and having to find ways to communicate in many different ways, but I'm grateful for the learning curve, I guess. And yes, I can see how by doing this it's helping them so much, and I feel like I'm a massive part in trying to teach them how to adapt to a world that's not adapted for them, and it's just a way of finding little tricks that are going to help and all that. So yes, I think it's a good thing in a way. Many people, when I tell them, say the first thing they say is, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, what are you sorry about? I don't see it as an illness. I see it as a different type of brain. I do think that it's part of human evolution, and I do feel like it's going to be something where there are more and more children who are autistic, because it's just natural evolution to be able to understand the world around us, which is made of machines and all that, more and more, and that these people have skills that are probably going to be needed to do very precise work in certain fields that are going to help humanity move forward. This is my point of view. You do not need to share it. I'm happy for you to have any opinion on it, but this is where I stand on it. So just think about it. All I'm asking is, if you find out that somebody's child was diagnosed with autism, maybe say something like, if there's any way I can help, let me know, or anything like that, because it's very difficult to have social life with people who are not aware of it, if they don't, because you feel like you have to justify every single behavior, and some of them can look very odd. I've heard so many times people in the street saying that Alfie was having tantrums all the time, that he needed a good slap, or things like this. These are awful things to hear, especially when the reason for the meltdowns most of the time is that he has too much stimulation, and he can't handle it anymore so much that he panics and he breaks down, and that's all it is, and he lets everything out, and then everything is fine. It's his way of letting it out, and yes, it looks very dramatic, and yes, it can look like a tantrum, but it's not always a tantrum. So if you see a child screaming and shouting on the floor in the supermarket, please don't straight away think that they are spoiled children who blame the parents, because I've heard this so many times and it broke me down every time. And now I have a tougher skin, but just think before you say anything. So I'm gonna leave it there because my battery is flashing and I have no idea where my other battery is. I'll probably be back at some point here, I don't know yet, but follow us on Instagram, put the link again, and I'll update everything there.